Hey, it's Dr. Pete. I came across a really interesting statistic the other day, and it was something like this. The average American eats across a 15-hour window every day, which represents 11 feeding events. Now, I was trying to give an example as to how bizarre that eating pattern is as an average or a norm for American society by comparing it to if you were in charge to how often you had a bowel movement throughout the day. Okay, imagine that you were like, oh yeah, no big deal. This is just normal. Of course, I go to the bathroom 11 times a day to have a bowel movement across 15 hours. Like, thank God you sleep so that you know not to use the bathroom anymore. And so I just think it really shows the mismanagement and dysregulation of our eating habits, you know? By the way, the only reason you don't have a bowel movement constantly throughout the day is because of your enteric nervous system. In other words, it's a very regulated process. It's an assembly line of moments and checkpoints, hormonal regulation, energy release, energy use, immune system involvement. I mean, there's so much that goes on in that 30 feet of intestine. And again, as I mentioned, the idea that you're in charge of the one end and that you're not in charge of the other, well, again, just try to get some perspective as to what is considered abnormal. I mean, we know right now, if you're going to the bathroom more than 3 times a day, that's considered pathological. It's called diarrhea. So the idea that you're eating all throughout the day, it's like, reverse diarrhea of the mouth or something. I mean, just, not to get too gross, but the point is that hearing that Americans eat throughout 15 hours of the day, and then in the meantime, that represents 11 eating events, really just tells me that we are really off as a society with something as basic as eating times and feeding times and events of that sort. And so it's time to tighten that up with some fasting, and the Athos diet truly is a great framework to taking on that cultural norm, which should not be normal at all.